Hey guys, I'm Dan from The New Travel, and I have nothing better to do on a Sunday than sit alone in the park and talk to my camera. Wait, no. Hey guys, I'm Dan from The New Travel, and today I'm going to take you to the Tam-Tams, one of Montreal's oldest and most cherished traditions, at least among stoners and people who love hangouts in the park on Sundays. I've been to the Tam-Tams a couple times before. I've always loved the energy. I've always thought it was a unique part of the city. I've just never known how to make a video about it, because first of all, it's very loud, and second of all, it's like what's the purpose even? I don't know. But the more I think about it, maybe not everything in life needs a purpose. Maybe some things just exist for their own sake. I think Tam-Tams is something like that, and so I'm going to show you what it's like. This is Mount Royal Park, one of the major parks, just north from downtown. And this statue here, this is the center of what is known as the Tam-Tams. Move out of the way, boss. Come on. Move, move, move. So I'm going to take you over there and show you what it's like, but basically it gets pretty loud when you're in the middle of the Tam-Tams. So I'm going to give you a little introduction before we get there. Tam-Tams is French for drums. It literally means like the drums. And you can hear them in the background as I speak. There are, dozens or sometimes even hundreds of people who make giant drum circles, who play the drums, who dance, who chill, who just spontaneously spend their Sunday afternoon hanging out in the park. And one thing that's really interesting about it to me is you see a huge variety of people. I mean, you see older people, you see younger people like students, you see families, you see hippies, you see like any kind of person you can imagine in Montreal. You're gonna eventually see them here. It's just like one of those places where the power of music and just the power of community brings everyone together. That's about all I can say about the Tam-Tams. If I get lucky, maybe I'll speak to someone over there and get some other opinions on it. Anyway guys, it's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing to see it for yourself. You ready for this? Let's go. Pretty cool place, huh? Now, one thing that interests me is, even at a place like the Tam-Tams, you have different communities forming. Like you have the main drum circle, which is to my right, which I just showed you. But there's a smaller drum circle to the left. I don't know what the deal with the two drum circles is. I like to think there's a rivalry and they're like, we're the original drum circle. No, we're the original drum circle. There's like an interesting sociological study to be had here about how like whatever group of people you have, like they will naturally split into like subgroups. If you're ever visiting Montreal and you want to see it, it takes place in this place called Monument to Sir Georges Etienne Cartier. And I don't know who Sir Georges Etienne Cartier was. I wonder if he was a hippie, because he's definitely become a hippie icon to the city of Montreal and the Tam-Tams. So as I said at the beginning, if I was lucky, I would get to talk to someone at the Tam-Tams. I just met Miguel.
Hey.
And Miguel, you found me walking around and you recognized me from my videos, right?
Absolutely, man. It's crazy to see you here.
And you said this is your first time. First of all, how long have you been in Montreal?
I've been here for 7 years.
7 years? This is your first time at the Tam-Tams?
Yeah, first time at the Tam-Tam, but the Tam-Tam is supposed to be the place where you go first. And I did things wrong. For my first couple of years, I was like focusing on university and stuff, so I didn't come. But this is one of the first things you hear about in between the poutine, picnic electronic, and then Tam-Tam. It's like the things that you have to do during the summer.
Well, any thoughts on the Tam-Tam so far? First time at the Tam-Tams?
I think it's super good because I really like the fact that it's only drums. You know, it's like I feel like we realize how much music has different layers and how simple drums, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's hard to do it, right? But it can be like, you feel so united and you feel so into it, you know? And I think it's, yeah, I just remember the power of being all together, things that we haven't done that much these past couple of years.
And maybe let's zoom out, because you moved to Montreal 7 years ago. You came here as a student, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember? What's your first impression of Montreal? Like, what was it like moving here?
It's not super positive.
Well, tell the truth. What did you think?
I'm gonna tell the truth. I came here to visit different universities in Montreal in November 2013, and it was the winter. A huge snowstorm when I arrived the first day, and then we were in the taxi with my aunt who came with me, and I looked around and I felt like it was super gray. It was super gray, you know, and it was snowy and stuff, and I was like, I would never leave here. At the end of the day, I ended up coming here, and what I discovered about Montreal is that it's the city that you have to experiment as a Montrealer, someone who's from here. Montreal, you have to go to have a brunch, you have to go to the different parks, you have to enjoy the quality of life. It's not a city where you're gonna go somewhere, you know, and you're gonna feel super impressed or amazed, but it's more a city that you experiment as you do things here, and this is where you get the real vibe. It's a city that you have to live in, even if you're here for 3 days. Live here like you're from here, you know?
That's great.
I really love that city. Now I feel like it's home. I'm no longer French because I'm from France, but I'm no longer French. I'm from Montreal.
That's awesome, man.
Of course.
That's awesome. Now, believe it or not, there is more to Tam-Tam than the Tam-Tams. If you keep going back, I mean, you'll find a lot of people just hanging out in the park, as you do in any nice park in Montreal. But you've also got these kind of sub-communities where you have you got some live action role play. I believe that's called, what is it, LARPing? Yeah, I don't know much about LARPing, but shout out to any LARPers who might be out there. But yeah, you've got some live action role play, you've got some huge slack lines. Those lines that people with much better balance than me sometimes balance on. And yeah, you just got all these people enjoying the park, doing their own thing. So if you want to check out the Tam-Tams, but you don't want to be in the drum circle the whole time, it's definitely something where you can have a picnic here, see the music, hear the music in the background, but also do your own thing in the park. So I just asked permission to film because I don't want to just be in the middle of a battle. But yeah, here they go. You can see that this is more intense than I thought it was. Check this out. I mean, you've got, it's not a free-for-all. You got the two armies on both sides. This is wild. This is wild. Oh my God. So yeah, this surprises me. I mean, I knew that there was some role-play fighting going on back here, but I didn't know how intense it got. When people fall, they really fall, you know? I'm not intense enough for this. I'm gonna stick to YouTube. Slack lines everywhere. Oh, the guy just got up on the big one. Check this out. Yeah, this is something I could never do. Even the dog looks impressed. And now I understand what those kids over there were doing. They're training for the big leagues. Future fighters. J'ai juste trouvé une nouvelle personne. C'est quoi ton nom?
Jean-Paul.
Jean-Paul. Enchanté. Et je vais essayer avec mon petit français. Oui.
Tous les dimanches, je viens ici. Tous les dimanches, ou presque, quand il fait beau.
Pourquoi?
Parce que c'est le fun, parce que c'est agréable, c'est le plaisir, on se parle tout le monde a le sourire, tous ceux qui ne quittent pas la ville viennent ici. Donc,
Oui.
ils sont là depuis 30 ans et plus.
30 ans.
Depuis longtemps.
Ouais.
On les connaît tous parce qu'on les voit, qui se promènent. C'est comme une famille, au fait.
Une famille.
Ouais, presque. Mais venir ici, c'est comme une famille, on se connaît tous. That's it.
Super, merci.
Yes.
Et qu'est-ce que vous pensez de la vie en Montréal?
Fantastique.
Fantastique.
Je suis ici depuis 35 ans. Je suis arrivé ici en vacances et
Ouais.
je suis resté. Really, it's not a joke, c'est vrai. Ouais.
Vous venez d'où?
De la France.
De la France, oui.
Ouais.
C'est super.
Super.
Merci Jean-Paul.
Yes, I.
Ouais. Enjoy your day.
You too.
So I kind of set out today wanting to know, what is the Tam-Tams? Is there some deeper meaning behind this? I mean, I've heard that they meet every Sunday since the 1960s, but why? Why? That's the question I kept wanting to try to answer today. But really, there is no answer. I got some perspectives. I met someone who is at the Tam-Tams for the first time. I met someone else who's been going here every weekend for decades. It all comes back to the same thing. It's about the vibe. It's about the spirit. It's about sitting down and enjoying some good times, enjoying a beverage, enjoying the good weather, celebrating the summer in Montreal. And listen, if I talk to more people, would I have got some different answers? Are there more stories waiting at the Tam-Tams? Of course there are. But listen, I'm gonna leave some of those stories for you. If you wanna find out what it's all about, maybe you gotta come down here for yourself. I think sometimes when we're watching YouTube videos, we expect them to give us some answer. We expect like, okay, this video is gonna teach me about productivity. This video is gonna teach me about what life is like in Montreal. But sometimes you gotta experience life and come to your own conclusions. And I think that's where I'm gonna leave this video at. I mean, I'm just a guy on the computer screen or on your phone. I can't do everything for you, okay? I'm still figuring my own life out. I guess that's kind of the message of the new travel. I hope I can inspire you, not by giving you all the answers, but by showing you that you can find your own. Did that make sense, or was that just a crazy ramble to try and sound deep and end this video? I don't know. But I will say this. A big part of the Tam-Tams is about just relaxing, enjoying the moment, enjoying your day. And I've been so busy filming this video, I haven't really done that yet. So I'm going back, but I'm gonna end the video here. I'm gonna go back just to feel the vibe and experience the Tam-Tams on my own for a bit. And so that was it. I got a few final shots from my video, and then I was making to leave. But then, just as I was going to leave, the most interesting thing happened. A small group of strangers saw my camera and they asked what I was doing. And so I explained about the YouTube video I was making about the Tam-Tams. And they asked if I wanted to join their group and sit and have a beer. Of course, I was ready to leave. But when the universe offers you an opportunity like this, you can't say no. After a long day of filming, it's exactly what I needed. We sat, we talked, we shared stories. One of them had a cool looking camera, so I played with that for a bit. But I didn't film most of this experience. I just lived it. I just sat there and talked with these new friends. And as I did that, everything opened up. And it finally happened. I finally experienced the Tam-Tams. Yeah, so I solved the mystery that I talked about early on about why there are the two drum circles. Because my buddy Josh, he's actually, he's a drummer, he's a tam-tammer, and he explained it to me. And it has nothing to do with the rivalry that I thought might exist. It's more about the technique of the drumming. So the big drum circle he described as chaos. It's just chaotic energy. You're going there to feel the chaos of like all these different elements playing together. Whereas the smaller one is concerned with being like more technically sound. You can imagine how for the musicians in the group who really want to like practice the craft and like make good music, that's where you go to the smaller drum circles so you can actually hear every piece of the puzzle and kind of like play off each other a little bit more. Also, I wanted to share that the little moment at the end, it was so cool. As I mentioned, you know, I was ready to end the video. And this guy was just like, saw me. He's like, hey, this guy, his name is Mario. He saw me with my camera. He's like, are you a journalist? And I was like, no, I'm making a YouTube video about the Tam-Tams. And, you know, we talked a little bit. And he's like, oh, you can come with us if you want. Because they were just arriving at the Tam-Tams. And I was about to leave. But then I thought, you know what? Like, the universe has just handed me this moment. A chance to make some friends. A chance to hang out and do what I wanted to do, which was just relax a bit. Did you get like a good price on a like old used one, or is that a super nice one?
I bought it from my friend because he had it, so I...
Okay guys, I upgraded my YouTube camera. What do you think? So I didn't interview these guys. I didn't film everything. But off camera, like he was explaining about how they're part of an organization called the Gardiens, les Gardiens Spirituels de Québec. He was telling me they're there to like kind of look after the Tam-Tams. So I was asking like, oh, so you clean it up and stuff? He's like, no, well, we keep the energy clean. We keep the energy pure. Make sure there's no conflicts with police or anything like that. Make sure the vibes are good. I don't know what that actually means, but like I thought it sounded pretty cool. And yeah, other than that, this has been like a progression in my journey of showing Montreal. I started off with just myself, showing my first impressions of the city, showing what life is like, the little bit that I knew. But I quickly realized that to progress further, I should explore some different neighborhoods. I should talk to some different people. And I'm still gonna do neighborhood tours, but now I'm also interested in showing the events and the particular moments that speak to Montreal as well. And I think together, with my own opinion, with the friends and random people I meet, and with these specific things like the Tam-Tam, which are almost like indescribable, I can get a like total sense of what Montreal is. I mean, I'm kind of thinking of making this all into a documentary. Like these will all be like chapters of a documentary that could be called This is Montreal. I want to be as inclusive as I can to all the different sides of Montreal. I know that there's like sides that myself as a, you know, white English speaking dude can't really speak to. I'd love to, you know, experience life in Montreal Nord, which is a predominantly black neighborhood to the north of Montreal. A lot of Haitian immigrants who I'm sure have a very different experience than I have. You know, maybe I could meet someone who is indigenous who grew up in Montreal. Maybe I could meet someone who, yeah, just has an experience like very different than mine. Not just in terms of race or identity, but in terms of lived experiences. And yeah, like, I don't know, it's hard because Montreal is such a diverse city that it could just go on and on and on. Like I could be doing this for the rest of my life. And maybe I will be, who knows? Like travel is still in a weird position. So I don't have any immediate plans to travel, though that could be changing by the fall. And once the US border opens, I'd love to get down to New York City. I'd love to show some places like that off. So who knows what the future will bring. But for now, I'm enjoying making this series. Speaking of which, thanks as always to my supporters over on patreon.com/thenewtravel, or just by clicking the join button under this video. Even a couple dollars a month really means a lot. Hope everyone in Montreal is having a great time. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.